If you'd have told me, let's see, we picked him on Saturday, right? Friday night driving home, y'all are going to pick Shedeur, I would say that's not happening. But we had a conversation early that morning, and then we had a conversation later that day. I think we had the right people involved in the conversation. At the end of the day, that's Andrew Berry's call. Andrew made the call to pick Shedeur. Just like who's going to start or what play we're going to call is Kevin's call. But that's Andrew's call. He made the call.
The NFL is buzzing after Browns general manager Andrew Berry allegedly pulled Shedeur Sanders aside following the Raiders game and delivered a message that stunned fans, analysts, and insiders across the league. For weeks, the conversation around Shedeur has centered on reps, opportunities, development, and whether the Browns organization was truly giving him a fair shot. But after his breakout performance against the Raiders, a game where he finally showed flashes of the talent people had been waiting on, Berry's private words immediately became the center of attention. Reports, insider whispers, and commentary across NFL media suggested that Berry not only acknowledged Shedeur's growth, but expressed a level of confidence and excitement that stood in complete contrast to the narrative surrounding the coaching staff in previous weeks.
100% it doesn't seem right. Is it the kid, or is it how you have treated this guy? Like, I don't know where the fine line is, but there's certainly a disconnect. Like, when I see like this kid on the bench, this is after the game. Number one, it's not the 7th game of the World Series. You lost a game that nobody cares about, all right? And by the way, Lamar Jackson, a 2-time MVP, was looking for you. Like, go back in there, visit with Lamar or whatever, and then go back in with your teammates. Why is there such a disconnect here? Is it the kid's fault? Is it the organization's fault? I have no idea, all right? But I am going to say this. The only energy I saw in the entire stadium was when that kid popped on the field.
Right.
When Shedeur walked on the field, you know who was wanting to see him play?
Fans.
The dang fans. And you know who never cared? His teammates. What the hell is going on in Cleveland?
Yeah.
What is going on in Cleveland?
The Raiders game wasn't just about completions or numbers. It was about poise. For the first time since joining Cleveland, Shedeur looked comfortable, sharp, and fearless in the pocket. He read defenses with patience. He extended plays with intelligence instead of desperation. And most importantly, he showed command, the kind of command coaches spend years trying to build in young quarterbacks. With the Browns caught in a storm of uncertainty at the quarterback position, Shedeur's performance injected new energy into a team that has been desperately searching for stability. And that's exactly why Berry's alleged message hit the league like a shockwave. According to multiple insiders, Berry told Shedeur that the organization finally saw leadership traits that can reshape this franchise's future. Some commentators claimed Berry said even more, hinting that the Browns' long-term plans at quarterback might look very different than people expect. Whether that's bold optimism or a strategic shift remains to be seen, but what's clear is this. For the first time since joining the Browns, Shedeur received acknowledgement from the top of the organization, not just teammates or fans. That alone sent NFL analysts into overdrive. Berry's message reportedly focused on growth, consistency, and accountability, praising Shedeur for staying composed despite weeks of noise and speculation about his standing within the team. Fans noticed Shedeur's professionalism, especially after discussions surrounding reps, preparation, and practice rotations earlier in the season. Instead of complaining publicly, instead of showing frustration, he let his performance speak for him. And according to the rumors, Berry made it clear that he respected that discipline. This wasn't a moment of consolation. It was a moment of validation. The Raiders game wasn't perfect, but it was symbolic. A turning point where Shedeur shifted from developmental player to legitimate quarterback option. The Browns have been plagued with quarterback inconsistencies for years, with every new season feeling like a gamble at the most important position in football. Now, after one strong performance and one powerful message from the GM, the league is wondering whether the Browns may have secretly unlocked the next chapter of their franchise without even planning for it. And that's why this moment is spreading across sports media so quickly. Because Andrew Berry doesn't hand out praise easily, especially not publicly or through the people around him. If the GM is impressed, the entire NFL pays attention. What makes Andrew Berry's message even more explosive is the timing. The Browns have been under heavy scrutiny for weeks over how they've handled Shedeur Sanders behind the scenes. Analysts questioned why he wasn't receiving adequate first-team reps earlier in the season. Fans argued that his development was being stunted by conservative decisions from the coaching staff. and former players openly debated whether the Browns were intentionally holding him back to protect the current quarterback hierarchy. All of these conversations built pressure, and every mistake made by the offense only intensified the spotlight around the coaching staff's decisions. Against this backdrop, Shedeur's strong showing against the Raiders became a statement, a direct answer to every question fans had been asking. He didn't just look like a backup stepping in, he looked like someone capable of competing for the role outright. And according to reports, Barry acknowledged that in private. Instead of letting the coaching staff dictate the narrative, the GM stepped in and made it clear that he sees something special, something worth investing in, or at least worth exploring further. For Browns fans, this moment felt like a massive shift. For weeks, they watched Shedeur take limited reps in practice, then watched him handle post-game interviews with maturity despite limited opportunities. They saw him answer difficult questions with professionalism, and they watched him remain patient through a situation that many young quarterbacks would have used as an excuse for mistakes. When he finally got meaningful snaps against the Raiders, he looked hungry, composed, and ready. That kind of resilience is exactly what Barry supposedly pointed to in his message, and exactly why the NFL took notice. On sports talk shows, analysts began dissecting what this means for the future of the franchise. Some argued that Barry's message is a signal to the coaching staff, a reminder that organizational vision comes from the top, not from a single room in the facility. Others speculated that the GM is preparing the ground for major off-season changes, especially if Shedeur continues trending upward. The quarterback position is political, it's strategic, it's a chessboard that defines careers, coaching reputations, and team identity. And right now, Shedeur Sanders is suddenly in the middle of that chessboard. Social media exploded with reactions. Browns fans tweeted that Barry's message was overdue. Raiders fans acknowledged that Shedeur torched their secondary with confidence they didn't expect. Even neutral fans reacted with surprise, noting that Barry rarely gives such direct praise, especially toward a young rookie still finding his footing. For the league, Barry's acknowledgement signaled something even more important. Cleveland might have a quarterback controversy brewing. Behind the scenes, insiders say this moment could reshape team decisions moving forward. Does Shedeur get more reps? Does he leapfrog veterans in the depth chart? Does Barry push for internal restructuring to give him more opportunities? The NFL is a league built on momentum, and Shedeur may have started a wave big enough to change the Browns' entire season trajectory. But the story doesn't stop at Barry's private words. The ripple effect inside the Browns facility has reportedly been intense. Coaches, staff, and players all witnessed the same performance against the Raiders, but the GM's reaction added new fuel to conversations that were already happening behind closed doors. According to team insiders, some members of the coaching staff were shocked by how forceful Barry's message seemed. Not because they disagreed with Shedeur's potential, but because the GM's praise came at a moment when internal debates about the quarterback rotation were reaching a boiling point. Before the Raiders game, the Browns had been heavily criticized for the way they balanced reps between Shedeur and the other quarterbacks. Reporters noted inconsistencies. Fans questioned the logic. Analysts wondered whether Shedeur was being evaluated fairly. But after the Raiders game, everything shifted. Shedeur didn't just perform, he seized control, and Barry's message appeared to support that shift, placing weight on his development rather than maintaining the status quo. Some players reportedly noticed a change in energy immediately after the game. Instead of treating Shedeur like a developing backup, teammates treated him like someone who might actually take the reins sooner than expected. Quarterback rooms are sensitive environments. Competition, chemistry, leadership, and trust all collide in ways the public rarely sees. A young quarterback earning sudden organizational backing can create tension or motivation, depending on how the locker room responds. But if Shedeur's performance is any indication, he handled the shift with maturity. Instead of celebrating loudly or making bold statements, he kept the same calm, methodical demeanor that impressed fans after earlier games. Analysts pointed out that this professionalism might be exactly what Barry was referring to, the ability to remain steady even while surrounded by chaos. The coaching staff now finds itself under pressure. Fans are demanding clarity, analysts want answers, and Barry's alleged message signals that he expects a shift in approach. What that shift looks like remains unclear. More reps, different game plans, altered depth chart expectations, but something has changed fundamentally. NFL insiders say Barry has always valued decision-making, discipline, and long-term potential. Shedeur's showing gave him evidence he needed to push for a deeper evaluation, and the message he delivered after the Raiders game may have been a not-so-subtle reminder that development decisions are not purely in the hands of the coaching staff. In other words, the GM sees the future differently, and he expects the organization to adapt. And the league is now asking the million-dollar question: how will Kevin Stefanski respond? Barry's message may have shifted the power dynamic inside the Browns facility. For the first time, Shedeur isn't being treated as the rookie waiting his turn. He's being treated as the quarterback who could change the franchise's entire direction. Outside of the facility, the media frenzy has only grown louder. Sports networks, podcasts, talk shows, and social pages instantly reacted to the news of Barry's message. Everyone wants to know, is this the start of a quarterback controversy in Cleveland? And more importantly, what does this mean for Shedeur's role moving forward? Analysts who doubted Shedeur earlier in the season have suddenly changed tone. They now point to the Raiders' performance as proof that he has the qualities teams love in developing quarterbacks: pocket discipline, calm under pressure, and a growing sense of play clock awareness. Some commentators noted that Shedeur's mechanics look sharper than they did during preseason or early practices. Others highlighted his ability to make reads quickly and avoid panicking even when the pocket collapsed. These details matter because the NFL is all about projection. Teams don't only evaluate what a player is today, they evaluate what he could become 2 years from now, and Shedeur's ceiling has always been high. That's why his limited reps earlier in the season created so much frustration among fans. The potential was there, they just wanted to see it tested, but Barry's message changed the frame entirely. For the first time, Shedeur has organizational momentum behind him. The kind of momentum that can override depth charts, challenge coaching decisions, and shift strategies. That's why NFL insiders believe this moment could mark a turning point. A GM's confidence isn't random, it's strategic. And when a GM gives a vote of confidence to a young quarterback, it typically signals major changes. Social media is treating the moment like the beginning of a new era. Browns fans who have struggled through endless quarterback cycles, from failed experiments to injuries to midseason collapses, are calling this a breath of fresh air. They see Shedeur's calm demeanor and high football IQ as exactly what the franchise needs to stabilize its offense and build a more reliable identity. Raiders fans who watched Shedeur play during the game admitted that he looked better than expected, sharper, more confident, more polished. Neutral fans simply enjoy the drama, noting that the Browns are now one of the most interesting quarterback situations in the league. Meanwhile, analysts are already predicting what could happen next. Does Shedeur get a QB2 promotion? Does he receive first-team practice reps? Does the team redesign certain offensive sets to highlight his strengths? These questions aren't hypothetical anymore, they are real possibilities. Barry's message wasn't just praise, it was direction. And the NFL knows what that means. A quarterback shift may be on the horizon in Cleveland. Inside the league office and across NFL coaching circles, the conversation around Shedeur Sanders has shifted dramatically. What was once a quiet debate about his readiness has turned into a league-wide discussion about potential, preparation, and opportunity. Coaches from other teams reportedly took note of his performance against the Raiders. Not because it was perfect, but because it showed traits that can't be taught: vision, patience, awareness, confidence. These are qualities veteran quarterbacks sometimes struggle to maintain. The fact that Shedeur showed flashes of them during a pressured moment made the league pay attention. That's why Barry's message is considered a big deal. General managers rarely express strong opinions unless they see something worth fighting for. And if Barry believes Shedeur deserves more responsibility, that belief could trigger major adjustments to the Browns' long-term planning. The quarterback position defines franchises, it determines coaching longevity, it shapes draft boards, and Shedeur's emergence complicates all of it. The Browns have invested heavily in their quarterback room. They've made bold decisions. They've structured the offense in specific ways. But if Shedeur continues improving, the organization may face a crossroads. Stick to the original plan or pivot toward a developing star who could change the franchise's trajectory. That type of shift requires courage, patience, and strategic thinking. In Browns history, stability at the quarterback position has always been elusive. From the post-Belichick era to modern-day chaos, the team has cycled through dozens of starting quarterbacks. Fans are exhausted, analysts are exhausted, even executives are exhausted. That's why Barry's message landed so hard, because it hinted at a future that doesn't involve uncertainty or improvisation. Shedeur brings something different. He brings composure shaped by years of high-level football experience, both on the field and in pressure-heavy environments. He brings maturity beyond his age, and he brings a style of play that can adapt to modern NFL defenses. These elements make him more than just another rookie quarterback. They make him a potential long-term engine for the Browns' offense. The Raiders game didn't just prove that he can compete, it proved that he can grow quickly when given real responsibility. And if Barry believes in his long-term value, then the organization must decide whether it's time to accelerate his development. Fans sense that something major is coming. Analysts sense it too. Even NFL insiders claim the Browns are entering a phase where they must evaluate everything: coaching strategy, depth chart dynamics, practice rotations, and future roster construction. Shedeur Sanders is no longer just a backup. He's a factor, one big enough to reshape Cleveland's identity for years to come. What happens next will determine how this story is remembered. If Shedeur continues to improve, Barry's message will be seen as the moment everything changed. If the coaching staff adapts, the Browns could quietly build one of the most surprising quarterback developments in recent NFL memory. And if Shedeur gets more reps, more opportunities, or even more leadership responsibilities, fans will point to the Raiders game as the start of a new era. But the road will not be easy. Pressure builds fast in the NFL. Defenses will adjust, opponents will study film, coaches will test Shedeur's weaknesses, fans will demand consistency. But the young quarterback has already proven that he can handle scrutiny, stay focused, and rise under pressure. That alone puts him ahead of many rookie quarterbacks. Barry's message gives Shedeur something most rookies never receive: institutional belief. Belief is more powerful than talent. It inspires confidence, sharpens focus, and fuels growth. With the GM on his side, Shedeur has the opportunity to gain something even more valuable: stability. The Browns organization sits at a pivotal moment. They can continue with traditional quarterback planning, or they can embrace the possibility that Shedeur Sanders may actually be their future. They can choose safety, or they can choose potential. But one thing is clear: the conversation has already changed, and the NFL is watching closely. Fans hope this is the beginning of a new chapter. Analysts expect movement, and the Browns' internal structure may already be shifting behind the scenes. Whether Shedeur becomes the face of the franchise or simply the spark that forces innovation, Andrew Barry's message has already served its purpose. It changed the tone, changed the momentum, and changed the expectations surrounding Shedeur Sanders. The league is on alert, Cleveland is on alert, and Shedeur's story is just beginning. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like the video and subscribe for more NFL drama, analysis, and player stories.